Hamas, of course. Joining us now, an expert in urban warfare, retired Major John Spencer. Major, you say Israel is upholding the laws of war, given the constraints of urban warfare and the fact that Hamas embeds within civilian populations. CNN reporting shows that these 2,000-pound bombs are 4 times heavier than the largest bombs the U.S. dropped on ISIS in Mosul during the war against ISIS. Given that, do you understand the Biden administration's concerns to continue providing specifically the 2,000-pound bombs?
I understand that reporting is not factual and it has led to some type of vilification of a very commonly used tool like the 2,000-pound bomb that we did use in Mosul, and we used tens of thousands in Iraq, to include in the invasion that I took part in, where we dropped over 5,000, 4 on one building where we thought Saddam might be staying, and he wasn't, in urban areas. I understand the human rights activist campaign against a 2,000-pound bomb and how they want no bombs used in any urban areas. Even the reporting that they'd used them in refugee camps, I mean, on military targets in tunnels, which happen to be under schools, refugee camps, and other places. Because what most people don't report on the 2,000-pound bomb is that one of the reasons you need a bigger bomb is to penetrate the ground to an enemy who is in bunkers and tunnels, which is very well known of where Hamas has protected itself underneath its civilians.
You're returning to the region soon. Tell us what you what you're planning to do in terms of the research.
Yeah, so I've been twice since the war began, to include in Khan Yunis and tunnels and in Gaza, which, to me, get you the sense of why you need such large ammunition. I'm returning to continue to conduct research on urban warfare. I mean, the war against Hamas in Gaza is the biggest urban-centric war since World War II, since Stalingrad and many other battles. So I'll be on the ground, again, looking at how the IDF have actually implemented more things and more tactics to protect civilians, despite the international condemnation that is not backed up by actual people on the ground conducting research.
A Hamas representative in London did an interview with the Lebanese newspaper recently. He said if Hamas could go back in time, they would still carry out the October 7th attack on Israel, in which 1,200 individuals were killed, more than 200 kidnapped. They said, the Hamas representative said, it would be justified. How close, in your view, Israel to dismantling Hamas's capabilities to be able to carry out another October 7th-like attack?
Very close, and actually very close, despite threats. War is politics. Your greatest strength is your allies, but despite real threats from the United States and others to not go into places like southern Gaza, where they're finding hundreds of tunnel shafts and tunnels and rockets, but they have cleared of the major military capabilities of Hamas to do another October 7th attack. Many areas, but if they leave 10 to 20% of that, it would just be rebuilt. So I think they're very close, actually.
The Iran-backed militant group in Lebanon, Hezbollah, which the U.S. labels a terrorist group, published a 9-minute drone video showing Israeli military and civilian locations in northern Israel. This comes as Israel says it has, quote, approved and validated operational plans for a potential military offensive in Lebanon in response to all the missiles that Hezbollah has been firing. What do you make of this very tense moment? How close is all-out war on a second front about to happen?
I mean, I think the tension is very high, and while we say that nobody wants another front, most people don't recognize that there has been another front since October 8th. Thousands of Hezbollah rockets landing on northern Israel and setting northern Israel on fire. And like you said, that video released today where they're threatening to bomb Haifa, a city of over 280,000 civilians. It isn't like Israel hasn't tried everything, to include announcing, which is really a standard military practice, to have war plans, that these plans are finished, ready for approval. You would think that Hezbollah would stop attacking Israel any moment now, but every day for 8 months, they haven't. And last week, there were hundreds of projectiles, rockets, drones, mortars, artillery launched at northern Israel, where 80,000 civilians, and every time I go, they're in the hotels that I go to in central Israel because they're homeless.
Retired Major John Spencer, thanks so much, as always, for your expertise. And as those battles